Busted. The inside story of how the Kamala Harris campaign manipulates Reddit and breaks the rules to control the platform. Now, I know that there's going to be people that are going to say, oh, there's people that aren't aware of what Reddit's like, and they're going to say, that's terrible, that's a bad thing, it's more of the same. But if anyone's familiar with Reddit and the way the mods behave, it is an absolute leftist mess. Mm-hmm. It is atrocious the way they got rid of the Donald Trump Reddit just because they're like, people are here saying nice things about Donald Trump. We ain't having that. So from the Federalist, for years, many have speculated that Democrat political candidates may be filling social media with fake posts to deceive the public and make their campaigns and causes seem more popular than they are. These claims have often been dismissed by the left, citing that Democrat voters are already more likely to be on the internet compared to their not as tech-savvy Republican counterparts. Yeah, don't you know Republicans are dumb? So
Republicans totally dominate the meme game online. Like most independent media is right-leaning. That's what they're always complaining about.
I mean, I'm on board with you. Again, you sold me already. This would suggest that the constant flood of left-leaning content on websites such as Reddit was merely a reflection of the user base. However, dun dun dun, many people simply couldn't shake the feeling that something was just off, especially in the run-up to major elections. Despite my fervent belief that something was amiss, I never had any direct proof that Democrats were actively manipulating social media. That all changed 2 weeks ago when ex-user Jesse Princey replied to one of my posts with a screenshot from a Discord server seemingly related to the Harris-Walz campaign. The post says the calling all Reddit users, the no access team would love your help. We're posting and boosting breaking, informative and positive Harris and Walz news, as well as campaign generated memes and screenshots of Kamala Harris HQ social media to turn the tide on Reddit from orange to blue. We especially need people who can post at our politics, our news, our technology, and other large subreddits. Join here, yada, yada, yada. I don't think this is a surprise.
No.
And anyone that spends a decent amount of time on X might be familiar with the fact that there are some accounts that are far left that don't have a lot of followers, but they'll post something and it gets tons of shares and tons of likes. And there's been a lot of speculation that it's people on Reddit. They say, oh, this particular post, or hey guys, and someone will go and they'll say, hey, I posted this. Can you give me some boost this and blah, blah, blah. And all the people from Reddit on these subreddits will go ahead and jump in there and like it and retweet it, et cetera, et cetera. So what do you guys think? Do you think that this is an obvious thing? Do you think it's something that is worth the right trying to counteract?
It's a bit confusing because on one hand you have Zuckerberg apologizing for basically collaborating with what was it, the CIA or the FBI when
the Biden White House, I believe.
Yeah, the Biden White House, basically the way they squelched the laptop story, that's all coming out, but you still have this, and this seems like they're up to the same old shenanigans with astroturfing.
It's not just the astroturfing. Their ground game is infinitely better than the rights. There's a reason why if you get somebody knocking on your door to talk politics, 90% of the time it's somebody campaigning for a Democrat, right? It's just the way that they move from group to group and get interest up far better. It may not be organic, but they coalesce around that idea and they spread their ideas wide that way. So this goes on in Hollywood too. So they have people go into trailer reactions and things like that to promote movies and talk good about them. It goes in the comment sections for these things. All this is just that the internet that you're looking at now, which is supposed to be the public square, is artificially filled with people who are either monetarily incentivized or in this case, ideologically incentivized, and they do organize on other forums and things like this. This is just, in a lot of ways, them being better at getting their message out.
So it's like Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, and the
right. Are the Catholics, Seamus? We're the Catholics.
Republicans
right.
go door to door and be like, look, have you seen this meme?
And you heard the news of Donald Trump? That would not help. Well, it's funny because they will call us members of a cult, and they're the ones knocking on doors.
Listen,
like, have you heard about Kamala Harris?
I'm not going to get into the whole James Lindsay stuff, but I honestly honestly think that he's got his finger on the pulse when it comes to the cult aspect, the religious aspect of the left. He's focusing on the right currently, but he's really brought to light a lot of the esoteric kind of foundations of like the statist ideas from the left, and how without traditional religions, that doesn't mean that religion goes away. It just means that it's filled.
There's a
There's a
hole
void
there.
that gets filled
Yeah.
by something else. So
Yeah. No, listen, part of what's really interesting about this, though, is that they felt a need to manipulate Reddit, which is already a very, very left-leaning platform. That's the first thing that I thought.
you think that's because it's a friendly base, and they feel like they get more traction because they already have a foothold there?
I mean, it's possible, but you'd think that if a website was solidly on your side, you would try to interfere with another one. I get your point too, though. It's just
You
interesting.
think it would be
that,
more? It'd make more sense that they were trying to do it on X somehow.
Yeah, like or X or maybe Facebook,
Maybe
or
OnlyFans.
like a platform that's maybe more friendly to them than X, but is not as overtly left wing as Reddit, because everyone like Reddit. It's basically Tumblr in terms of politics. It's probably a little more establishment than Tumblr was, but it's very, very to the left.
When Elon Musk bought Twitter, it kind of like was a crack in the Democrat social media, like the dam.
Yeah.
Because Democrats have controlled all of every platform, anything that was popular, Democrats had such control over it. And then Elon buys Twitter, you get the Twitter files, right? You get Joe Rogan is the top podcast, and these are cracks in the dam. And now the water's flowing out, and people are seeing it, and they're saying that's why Reddit has become a problem. They're like, oh crap, like we're getting more leaks, and it's continuing, and that's why I think at times it's like the stuff they post is so out of touch because they didn't need to care before. They had such control over it. It didn't matter what they said. It was going to be successful.
Again, not to reference Jordan Peterson too much, but he made a point that 0 is a special number. When you have no outlets that are promoting a particular perspective, then you have a very, very, very difficult time getting anything out. All you need is one to actually make a dent and actually have significant effect. And I think we saw that with Twitter becoming, being X and Elon Musk taking over and the Twitter files, of course. That was helped along by people like, Sullenberger and by Barry Weiss and by Matt Taibbi and stuff, because they're well respected. But it was the fact that X was the place where you could go and not get booted just because you dead named someone or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And like Trump used to he's new to addressing the whole like trans agenda and the sterilization stuff. Like he wasn't even talking about this in 2020, but it's because of the pandemic and like moms in particular seeing, oh, this is what's going on in our kids' classrooms, and
Yep.
and they were able to voice their concerns to more conservative outlets, and they kind of picked up like Daily Wire, like ran with it, and now it's like what you said, you just need one. And then pretty soon everybody's covering these issues.
It's one of the reasons why they work so hard to demonize alt media. And in general, if you can discredit, it's why your leftist friends will tell you, well, you got your news from Fox. It's not true. Well, if you have any leftist friends, it's why they'll tell you, well, that story isn't true. It's from Fox News. That story is not true. You got it off X. They're clearly just lying. It's disinformation. When you go to the source and you discredit the news outlet itself or the platform itself, it allows them also in a weird way to stay in their own echo chamber because they don't have to actually take into account anything you're saying, because they can just say, well, they got it off this platform I don't agree with, therefore it must be wrong or lying.
And they do that with the supporters of Trump too. Like,
Exactly.
oh, how could you vote for someone who has the support of these people or Fuentes or whoever's like the hated group du jour?
So
Awkward silence. Awesome. Let's keep going.
I mean, I will just tack on there. Obviously, Elon buying Twitter was a fantastic decision. I'm really glad that he did that. And it's just remarkable what having a single platform, at least being neutral to conservatives, has done for our movement.
There are people that'll swear up and down that X is a right-wing platform now.
Not even close.
And it's not, because the left is in no way prevented from being there. their Media Matters, all those sites, and whoever has a left-wing bias, they are more than welcome to be there. They do not get banned for having left-wing perspectives, for saying left-wing talking points, making left-wing points at all. They do not get banned unless they break the actual rules.
Plus, they wanted the echo chamber, right?
Well, yes.
So one of the issues is they had the echo chamber before, where they got to post whatever they wanted when it was Twitter, and a lot of people who would be able to push back on what they were saying were already banned. It's one of the reasons, I think, why Instagram tried to make Threads a thing. Remember Threads? And a lot of people who were left-wing media influencers, like, I'm going over to Threads, and nobody followed.
Nobody cares.
If you look at the rise of the popularity of podcasts, how like that's the top media right now. Like people aren't watching MSNBC, they're watching the Joe Rogan Experience. It's because when you get a 2-hour conversation, a 3-hour conversation, it's raw. It's not scripted, it's not structured. Anything can really happen, and people crave the authenticity of that. And so when you see these like AstroTurf posts, you see Harry Sisson going on Twitter, and despite the worst interview in recent memory of any political candidate, he's like, oh my God, she hit it out of the park, right? People are like, come on, man. Come on, like this is so obvious what you're doing, and people are sick of it. Like you can only do it for so long.
If you look at the comment section of the Theo Vaughn episode where he interviewed JD Vance, people are like, wait, we were being told that this guy's so weird. He's so normal. He's the coolest guy. Like, want to hang out with him.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I noticed most is the reaction to JD Vance actually getting out into the public space, and the way that people said, wait a minute, we were told that this guy's so weird, and he's the most normal dude ever. And I think that you see the same thing probably. I haven't looked at the comments from the Joe Rogan podcast, but I watched the podcast with JD Vance on Rogan, and he comes across as super average everyday guy. He's very smart. He comes across as a smart guy, but he doesn't come across as in any way awkward or anything like that.
Yeah.
That one time he went into the donut shop was awkward.
When you compare him to, Walls actually comes across as weird.
You put tampons in the boys' bathroom. He's a very weird guy.
Friends with a lot of school shooters, the guy said.
He's
just and I'm sure that there's plenty of stuff that seems weird that's just him misspeaking because it's he's not used to be, and I mean, I don't know, he's a governor, so he should be used to it, or was a governor, so he should be used to it, but maybe he's not used to that much attention from the whole country or whatever. But when you contrast with JD Vance, he comes across as weird, and Vance seems perfectly normal.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.